to Nakuru, where Bridget Ngana is, and like I mentioned earlier on, the Senate Committee on Security is on a tour of the Solai Patel farm on a fact-finding mission. That is the farm owned by Patel, and which is where the Patel Dam, which collapsed and in its wake killed over 40 people. So let's cross over to Bridget for an update on the same. Bridget, what's happening there and what can you tell us?
Yeah. Yes, Dan, this is the 5th day since this tragedy occurred, and we have been here for all those days following up on the developments. And this morning, the Senate Committee on Security has already arrived here in Solai. Actually, we are at Solai Boys High School, and this is where some of the families have been camping for the last few days. And they are led with the Garissa Senator Yusuf Haji, as well as the County Senator Susan Kihika is also here on the ground. They are here to just find out the cause of this tragedy, and rather, in a sense, give us the way forward, because it is something that has shook the nation, and more so it has also exposed on loopholes in how some water bodies, man-made water bodies are being managed in the country. But just to go to the heat of the matter right now, we're going to speak with the senators who are here at hand, and I'll just start by addressing the senator from Garissa, Yusuf Haji, to just tell us why they are here this morning, what they have found out, and they have toured some of the sites, and they have seen the humanitarian crisis currently here, and they can give us an update on what they have gathered and so far what actions they're going to take going forward regarding the prevention of such tragedies taking place and affecting so many people. Thank you so much for coming to Nakuru County, Senator. You can just tell us your team came here and what have you seen once you have arrived?
Thank you very much. First of all, we came here to console the people of Solai Patel farm, those who have lost their families and those we have found here. Secondly, as you know, one of our main tasks as a committee is to oversee the government, both central government and the county government. We came this morning and we met the security committee together with the disaster committee, and they have briefed us on what they have done so far. We want to congratulate the government for its swift action in trying to deal with this issue. But again, we have found here so many people, elderly people, women with small children, young children, all cramped together in this compound. We are concerned that any time there could be some outbreak of diseases, so it is not conducive for them to continue staying here. The government should find a way of dispersing them as soon as possible, so that they can breathe healthy environment, and they don't stay here with the fear that they will lose their children again on another disaster. We have also asked questions concerning about the dam. We have been told that investigation is going on, and we do not want to preempt the investigation that is going on. We are going to wait for them to give us that report so that we will know what action to take. We also want to commend His Excellency the President for giving 1 billion shillings to Kenya Red Cross. Kenya Red Cross have done marvelously well all over the country. We also want to congratulate the Secretary General, Mr. Guled, and his people for continuously helping Kenya. We want to thank Kenyans of all walks of life who are sending clothes, they are sending food to this camp to help the people. We want this spirit to continue, not only now, but every time. Thank you very much.
Senator, you're the senator of the county, affected county. You have been on the ground and you have seen what is going on. So far, there are concerns on the welfare of the families. We're talking about post this tragedy. What is the county government, or through your office, what are the deliberations you're having towards ensuring these people can also pick themselves up, apart from the waiving of the morgue fees that the county government decided that tomorrow the bodies at the morgues are not going to be charged any fees for the time that they've been there?
First of all, I also once again thank the security committee led by the chairman for visiting us in Nakuru County at this very difficult time, and condoling with the families that have lost their loved ones, that have their loved ones injured in the hospitals, but also the ones here that we have today visited and seen. There is over 100 families that are housed in this Solai Boys High School, and as the chairman has said, I think it's extremely important, not I think, but I know it's extremely important that the next phase for the government be the resettlement of these families from these schools. So far, the team on the ground, as far as helping with the tragedy, have done well in as far as providing food, providing a place to lay down and all that. But like you said, beyond the next few days, we must shift our focus to permanent settlement, to making sure that these people are settled. Now, I also am aware that a lot of those who passed on were employees of the farm, the Patel farm. I would also want to know, what is it that the employer has in place for these people who are affected by the disaster? Do they have some sort of insurance that will help the families? And also, as we move beyond the barriers, what do we do to make sure that those who are also not in these compounds, but maybe further downstream, have their farms that all the food was carried away by the water, that we make sure we sort of get some compensation for them so that they are able to, because it's only the beginning of the year, and that is what they were relying on. So there is a lot that is going to be needed. But in that, I also thank the President of the Republic of Kenya. We all witnessed that about a few days ago, he gave 1 billion shillings that will go towards these disasters through Red Cross. So we thank him. And what we shall be doing, like you asked as a Senate office, is also making sure that that money is used in the way the President intends it to be used, that it is used for the families that have suffered tragedy. And I would also urge Kenyans, let us also not take advantage of tragedies. We've seen where before a tragedy happens and maybe we begin with 200 families, you end up with 700, so that those legitimate 200 families do not get the help that they need. So we are going to be here, we are going to be on the ground, and also we need to hold accountable people like Warma. They need to tell us what have they been doing to make sure that these dams are safe. We do not need to be paying people salaries and they are not performing their jobs. So we need to make sure that these agencies are held accountable. And if they are not working, they need to go home.
Maybe from the assessment now on the area that was affected, I don't know if you're working with the county engineers, apart from the dam part where you have already decided the draining process and it has gone on. What is the brief that you have also been given regarding the safety of that area in terms of people rebuilding their lives? If these families are going to go back, they only know that place. Is that place also safe? Have they confirmed that it is safe, both to you and Senator Haji?
So what they have done, which is good, we go once the CS for water came on the ground, he also came with some technical engineers who, together with the county engineers, farm, making sure that, because there were some dams that we are now being told people had concerns because water had been seen leaking. So the engineers have gone around and sort of depleted those dams so that they no longer have water and so that they are not a danger to the community. But I would also take the opinion that it's probably not a good idea to rebuild downstream, where once these dams fill up again, assuming they will be left to stand or whatever, people might be affected. So we must make sure that as we rebuild, we do so in a place that is safe for our people.
Senator Haji, can you tell us maybe your assessment? Is that place safe for living? And also, what action is going to be taking place? You've said the investigations are going on, but also from the legislative point of view, how are you going to look towards the man-made water bodies in this country, that they are safe for people, even in terms of contingency plans and also the preparedness in terms of national disasters or disasters that we do not even know will ever happen?
Well, as Susan said, we have been given a brief. We are going to visit some of these dams, and upon our visit, with a recommendation from the various government arms, we will be able to say whether it is safe to live where. But I do not foresee how these people can go back to where this calamity happened because of psychological problems. We have just seen that children are being cancelled. But as you know, children don't have the brain of grown-up people to be able to grasp what they are being told. There will be a lot of nightmares. That's why we are saying that the government should find a solution about these dams. At the same time, there should be an arrangement to relocate these people to a safe place where they can live comfortably and continue with their life as they were doing before.
Yes, Senator from Isoli.
Our connection to coming here There is a bill before the House, National Disaster and Management Bill, that is sponsored by Mutula Jr. and Senator Sakaja. That bill will be brought to the Committee of National Security. This visit will inform what is going to be actually entailed in that particular legislation. And again, we have several reports that will be able to assist the committee to improve on the bill before the House.
What is the name of this bill? You've just mentioned the bill has been mooted by the Makueni Senator Kalonzo Jr., Mutula Kalonzo Jr.
National Disaster and Management Bill. Now, from what you have gone round and saying, we are at a school, and there are 2 schools within this particular area where the students are affected, and these are candidates. And one of the appeals that I need to make to the government and the people who are mandated to carry investigation and also finalize this process, it's important the issues of students are considered as quickly as possible so that students are back to the classes and the families are settled. That is really very critical. Yeah, thank you.
Maybe, Senator Haji, your visit here is maybe not divide of you meeting both sides of the divide, the ones who have been affected and also the farm that where this dam was collapsed. Have you met the management of the Patel farm, or rather have you also had conversations with them, and what is their input also in terms of, apart from government efforts? I believe the Senator for Nakuru mentioned that this person could also contribute towards the moving forward of this tragedy. Have you spoken with them, and what is their communication to, because they have been silent, we do not know anything about them, we've just been mentioning the Patel farm, Patel dam. Have you conversed with them, and what is their take on everything that has happened here and how they want to maybe be part of the process of bringing people back to their normal lives?
Well, this is a very good question, but unfortunately we have not been able to, or we have not made any attempt to meet Patel. We are concerned as much as everybody is concerned. And some of the questions we asked was that Kenyans are very much concerned that the so-called Patel has never appeared any scene. It is only the manager who is talking all the time on his behalf. So the investigations are going on, and we would not like to interfere with the investigation, because if so many people keep on investigating, you are likely to lose the track. There's the CID, which is doing this investigation. They will encounter him and they will ask him, and we are told he has already written a statement. So let us wait until we get the act.
Thank you. Just before we go, the area member of parliament is also here, and I think yesterday he was also with the residents in a prayer session. And going forward, Mr. MP, can you just give us a brief on what are the preparations going on right now as you look towards the interdenominational prayers that are going to take place on Wednesday?
Thank you. Let me first of all thank the Senate for the big concern they have with this region about the tragedy that happened. About the preparation that are ongoing is that we're inviting all the Kenyans of goodwill to come. We pray together so that we can also help these families to bury their loved one. And what we are the county government and us and the national government, we are organizing on how we can be able to get the casket and all the transportation, because some of the bodies will not be buried here. They'll be transported elsewhere. They are locals, and there are some who have lived here for many years, but they don't have somewhere to be buried. They'll be buried on a public cemetery.
And maybe on the issue of burial costs, is the county government or the national government going to take care also of this? Because according to the latest information, that the county government is taking care of the morgue fees. About the burial plans, is the county or the national government also taking care of these arrangements?
About the preparation and the cost, is the cost shared between the county government and the national government. There is a part that the county government is paying, and the other one is being paid by the national government. The other thing maybe I would want to say is to thank the Kenyans, because we have received overwhelming support from Kenyans of goodwill. We are saying thank you to them, and still more appeal to them. Those who have not come, we still need more things. And maybe I can just request, apart from giving us food stuffs and maybe blankets and mattresses, those who can be able to help us with building materials is well good, because we have some schools that were destroyed and we want them rebuilt. if we can get stakeholders who can be able to help us, it will be very much appreciated. The other thing I would want to maybe to request is...
Yeah, please be brief.
Okay, is to request that this investigation to be concluded quickly so that Kenyans want to know the truth so that we can be able to know who's responsible it is. Thank you.
Okay, so that was the statement from the various leaders who've gathered here. I'm being informed that one of the senators from Nairobi would like to say something about this issue. It's something that is really of national concern, and you see, this is a tragedy that was never anticipated. So you can just start by giving us a general brief of what is happening, because we're pressed on time, and I'm being told by the studio to really wind up.
Okay, we've come to condole with the families here at Solai. We are saying Paul on behalf of the Nakuru County. It's very unfortunate. We are seeing how the victims are. Yes, they are getting their food, the clothes, but the main thing here, this is a school. We need them to be taken somewhere so that the school itself, we have candidates here and the school has to move on. So it's about the government. We come out very fast. We reallocate these people where they should go. Then the school continues and we settle back our students.
Thank you so much. Dan, what is going on apart from this visit from the Senate is that those who lost their identification cards in the tragedy are going to receive new identity cards, and this is something that is already ongoing from the Birth and Registrations Office, but behind me is the Rift Valley Regional Commissioner, Mongo Chimwaga, who's going to just, we've been having a discussion with the Senator right now, but tell us, RC, can you now put this matter to rest? Are there any missing persons so far, or you have already closed that chapter? And in the terms of scaling down this operation, are you scaling it down, or have you already wound it up?
The operation has not been wound up. The clarification that needs to be made is with respect to the the list of missing persons that came from the tracing desk. Yeah, that is the one that was accounted fully. But last evening, one other name was added at the tracing desk. Is the one we are now concerned, or look to. We are trying to work on that now. But the teams are still on the ground even as we talk. And scaling down is exactly that. It doesn't mean the operation has stopped. That is what needs to be understood.
In terms of maybe going forward, the arrangements that you're making towards the interdenominational prayer service from your office, what so far is the situation on the ground? Is the humanitarian crisis really worse, or it's contained? And how far are you also in terms of the planning? And is it going to take place on Wednesday? Have we confirmed that's the date that we'll be having those prayers?
There are processes that are still being carried out as we talk. We have scheduled several processes, including post-mortem has to be done before the prayer meeting. So we have the identification had to be completed, the post-mortems have to be completed. Then before you even bring the caskets for the prayer meeting, you still have to process them and make sure they are all okay before you bring them. So we have several activities lined up. Now, depending on how soon they are completed, then we can confirm. But as of now, we have that tentative schedule. So
you're saying that this prayer meeting will be a meeting where we'll have those 45 bodies present, and it will be more of a requiem mass, an interdenominational requiem mass, not just a general prayer service.
Now, that would have been the ideal, but we are still looking at the processes, the hospital processes, and see that everything is completed, because we have to carry the family representatives here to the hospital.
The leaders here are calling on this area to be disbanded. Do you think that maybe just 1 minute, Mr. Chimwaga, I know half an hour is coming, we'll be there with you on the brief, but can you just tell us what are the plans in terms of they're saying these families need to be moved out of here and so that they can be taken somewhere else so that the school can be reopened? Are you also going on with plans regarding that?
Exactly. We are balancing. We are trying to balance that from the whole operation. When we say like we scale down, it is still ongoing, but we cannot put these people in perpetual mourning. Yeah? That is why we are trying to balance. As we scale down this, we have work to do on this side. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You can see the RC really doesn't want to talk so much. He says he will be giving us a brief in the next 30 minutes, and I think he's just trying to collect his facts, right? Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Chimwaga. And yes, he wants to talk. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The replacement for IDs is ongoing. Whoever lost their IDs, just like we are doing with the tracing desk, they are also registering here. We are taking fingerprints. We've agreed that they'll be given a waiver, and once the forms are ready, by the time we are winding up this place, they should be waiting for the IDs. Yeah. So that's one of the committees that we formed in this camp.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So in 30 minutes, the regional commissioner will be giving us a detailed brief on the preparations that are going on regarding the planned requiem mass, and he says it would preferably be a requiem mass, an interdenominational requiem mass. And behind me here, these people are lining up. They lost their identity cards, and you understand the Red Cross was planning to do a cash transfer to the affected families, and they are currently giving out their details. They're currently being issued with their identity cards. It is something that the national government has said will take charge of. They will not be paid. They will not be paying anything so far. But regarding the status, so far there isn't so much activity going on. He says the search and mission rather has been scaled down. It is ongoing. There's one more person they've been told that is missing, and that is what they're focusing on. The Senate committee here also said that they would like this thing to be wound up as fast as possible, that the people would be resettled somewhere else. And you know, initially we were hearing talk of them going back to where they were, and now there's an appeal for building materials because from the humanitarian response that they've been able to get, there's enough food, there are enough clothes. The Kenya Red Cross earlier on in the morning said we would like non-food items, personal hygiene equipment, rather personal hygiene materials for the women, slippers, shoes, and those are some of the things that are in need for those who are here in Solai. But Dan, I'll be here on the ground, and I'll be going around and just ready to rather give you a brief on what is happening. It's really been an activated kind of session, and yeah, so the line is here. You can see the relevant official bodies are also here, and it is something that we do hope would have a good end, because the statement is that they would not want to have these people on mourning mode all the time. So Dan, I'm here in Solai, and in subsequent bulletins I'll be giving you the updates as they unfold or that they come up. In the next 30 minutes, the regional commissioner will be giving us a detailed brief on the preparations towards the Wednesday interdenominational prayers. Dan.
Thank you very much, Bridget Singana, for the good update and the various interviews that she's held there, which has given some light into the update on what's happening right now. We've seen the Senate Committee on Security, which is led by Senator Haji, saying that they've gone to consult people, but they've also said that they're asking about the employer. What does the employer have in place for the farmers and for the workers who are there? Because, like we reported last week, a majority of those who are killed in this tragedy were employees of that farm. And however, the owner is still yet to speak or to show himself. At least we have not gotten him, and we've just been seeing his manager, who's been speaking on behalf of Patel himself. And the Senate committee has said that they've not actually made an attempt to reach out to him. Senator Haji says they're trying not to interfere with the ongoing investigations. They want them to be concluded, but there's still the call for humanitarian aid.